Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X researcher and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled Planet X Comes as a Comet, Red Skies and Other Effects. Now, as I have shown in previous articles, Planet X objects come into the solar system from the Planet X or destroyer system, which is much larger than the solar system and encompasses the solar system on all sides. It is known that the solar system entered the interstellar cloud, which is another name for the dust-filled volume in the galaxy from which Planet X system objects come from, not too long ago in terms of astronomical time, which would indicate a few thousand years. And you may look at Article 368 entitled The Destroyer System, Planet X and the Ward Cloud for more details on that. Now, the Planet X system objects coming into the solar system will draw material from the sun's nebula clouds and thus develop comet tails, which indicates that Planet X objects are in fact comets. Comets have been observed for thousands of years in agreement with the evidence suggesting that Planet X objects have been coming into the solar system from the destroyer system ever since the solar system entered it several thousand years ago. And this is an illustration of is the interstellar cloud, which is also the same as the Planet X system, from which all these objects, the stellar cores or the comets, are coming from. And we can see what the solar system looks like in comparison to this huge volume that is filled with these objects and their debris and dust. So this system is 30 light years in extent. That's the extent of the interstellar cloud. And that means that the Planet X system is at least 10,000 times larger than the solar system. Because the largest of these objects are dead or energy depleted stars, which seem to shed their outer layers of material until the core of the original star is exposed, I have named them stellar cores. These objects seem to also not obey normal gravitational laws. One of these objects, the 2007 stellar core, was observed to traverse the sun at a speed which was much lower than the escape velocity of the sun, which suggests that they have low gravitational influence as a result of their low energy status. In 1957, one comet was reported not to obey normal gravitational law. The comet was called Aaron-Rowland, and it was the 8th comet to be discovered in 1956 and the 3rd to reach perihelion in 1957. And from that we see that a lot of comets were coming in at that time. And now this comet did not seem to remain with the sun but continued on in its trajectory. However, it was reported to emit a huge quantity of dust, 75,000 kilograms per second, and to have had an outburst of dust 6 days before perihelion, and to have released a total of 300 billion to 20 trillion kilograms of dust into the sun's inner nebula cloud, also called the zodiacal cloud. Now, according to James McCann, who did research on comets, including Aaron-Rowland, and has written the book Planet X System, Comets and Earth Changes, comets actually pull in material from the sun's nebula clouds and thus gather a new atmosphere. But since these objects have been observed to shed material and be surrounded by a huge cloud of debris, it is likely that what actually happens is an exchange. They absorb the sun's higher energy material from the sun's nebula clouds and deposit their low energy material in those clouds, and thus bring large amounts of low energy stellar core dust into our solar system. And you may look at Article 424 and Article 418 for more details on that. Now, here's a photograph of the comet Aaron-Rowland, and you can see it had a sunward spike, and as well as the usual comet tail. And according to James McCann, the spike is due to strong current of electrons coming from the sun's corona toward the comet nucleus. All comets draw a current of electrons, but this current only becomes visible as a spike when the current is stronger than usual. Astronomers who determined its orbital parameters concluded that there was an unknown second force acting on it, which means that it was not obeying expected gravitational law. This agrees with the observations which show that these objects have very low gravitational influence and also interact through the electrostatic interaction, as all celestial objects are charged and have positively charged cores. Stellar cores are also depleted in electrons, so they operate as superions, whilst living stars and other celestial objects act as superatoms. And you may look at Article 184 entitled Stellar Core Evolution for more details on that. This dust then comes into the Earth's atmosphere and creates the colorful skies which seem to have become more and more prevalent nowadays. And here you see a photograph which shows these red skies, and these are actually in the form of luminescent clouds, because the only way we can have clouds that give off this that look red like this, and these are at the bottom, there are other clouds above, they are emitting other colors. These look blue, and some of these here look white, and even the colors here are different. Some are more orange than others. These ones are yellow, and the only way these clouds could possibly emit these colors is if they are actually emitting light. So these are luminescent clouds, and they result from the stellar core dust entering the atmosphere and absorbing material from the Earth's atmosphere, from the Earth's material, and that causes light emission from that material that makes contact with the dust. Now, but strangely colored skies are also not new, which also suggests that these objects have been affecting the Earth through the debris and dust which they leave behind for a very long time. And the figure below shows a painting from 1680. It shows the Great Comet of 1680, and you can see this comet had a huge tail, and the sky is also very strangely colored. As you can see, it's quite red. It's almost greenish here, and it's not normal here. They've painted it brown, but definitely has tones of red. This is definitely not a normal sky. And you can see, so it looks bright orange in places, almost red. And they are bright spots, which may at first appear to be stars, but they may be large pieces of debris from the comet emitting light. And this is also what we seem to have here. Now, the red sky indicates that there was stellar core comet dust coming into the atmosphere in large quantities, just like it is nowadays. And this is confirmed by this painting on the right, where large amounts of light-emitting debris can be seen in the sky. So these are definitely not stars. We can see in this painting that they are not stars. These are large objects in the sky that are emitting light. So these are most likely large pieces of debris that were making contact with solar system matter or even the Earth's atmosphere, and they were thus emitting light. So this debris is in the form of large pieces and dust, which absorbs energy and electrons and thus emits light. So what we are seeing nowadays was seen then as well. And people have for thousands of years associated comets with disease and cataclysmic events, as indicated by drawings and paintings. And we can see in this particular painting, we can see people lying on the ground, no clothes on. This woman is holding her head as if she's dizzy, and obviously not in good health. We can see the trees fallen over, so something must have happened to the trees. There's lots and lots of material in the sky that seems to be falling through the atmosphere, falling on the houses, and then we see these towers that have broken and fallen over. So we see a lot of destruction in this image. So obviously, and we see the comets in the sky. So obviously comets have been associated with cataclysmic events on the Earth for a very long time. Since we seem to now have a huge amount of stellar core dust coming into the Earth's atmosphere and actual stellar cores approaching Earth and having increasingly severe effects on the Earth, such as the breaking up of the ground, ocean recession events, volcanic eruptions, and severe weather events, it should now not be surprising that comets have been associated with cataclysmic events. It seems that these people had reason to be concerned. These objects from their star systems are not good for the Earth or its inhabitants, and they are not harmless. Now, not all comets remain with the sun once they reach it. The ones that remain with the sun are usually called sun-diving comets. It is usually believed that these comets are destroyed just prior or upon reaching the sun. But the large numbers of these objects in the sun's corona shows that this is not the case. And you can see one of these objects, obviously a solid object in the sun's corona. And it is one of these Planet X system objects, or I call them stellar cores as well. And it must have come in as a comet, because that's what these objects are. They are comets. And here's another one. This is the 2007 stellar core, as it was about to begin traversing the sun in the stereo B EUVI 304 image. And you can see that it was entering the sun's corona here. You can see that part of it that looks dark can be seen against the background of the corona, which is of course a spherical shell. So further back from where the object is entering the corona, there is corona that reaches further towards the left side. So this object can be seen against the background of that corona. And so you can see the objects clearly entering the corona. You can see that part of it is inside. And so this object came right through to the sun's corona. And this is the object that actually traversed the sun at a speed which was much, much lower than the sun's escape velocity, indicating that these objects do not obey gravitational law, just like Comet Rand-Roland was discovered not to. And here we see another Planet X system object. This one was moving through the sun's outer corona, and it seemed to have a trail of material behind it. Now, comets usually have a tail that points away from the sun. This object had a tail that pointed somewhat in the direction of the sun, not quite, but that is because it seemed to be drawing material directly from the sun's corona. It was not drawing material like the comets are observed to do from the sun's nebula clouds. And you can see what the nebula clouds are like. This is according to James McKinney, who described them like this. So there are different clouds at different radii from the sun, and as the comets come in along an orbit like this, they draw ions from the nebula cloud behind them, and they draw electrons from the sun's corona. So but you don't see the current that is coming from the sun unless it is very strong, like in the case of Comet Rand-Roland. Otherwise you only see the tail, but the electrons are moving right through the object into the tail material, and the electrons are combining with the material and leading to the formation of atoms and the formation of molecules like water and sodium dioxide. And it gives off light as well. And that's why comets are so bright. So in conclusion, Planet X system stellar cores are one and the same. These objects have been coming into the solar system and have been associated throughout history with red skies and cataclysmic events occurring on Earth with good reason. And these are the references. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.